Alright, mic check 1, 2. We should be live. I'm going to go ahead and check the channel just to make sure we are streaming live. It looks like it's not quite there. And there it is. It just showed up. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, post on the Discord real quick just so we can give everyone an opportunity that wants to join to join. Hope everyone had a good holiday. I'm going to go ahead and I'll post the link in the chat on the Discord as well as our Twitter feed. And then we will jump into this. All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. All right, this is going to be a quick overview on how to turn the signals on inside of the dash. It's not too complicated. I have all the regular indicators from the suite currently turned off. It's just the dash. And we should be able to get in here, turn this on, and then also set up an algorithm that you want to customize as well. So if you open the dash up, you should be able to scroll down to the color gauge signals right here. And as you see on my screen, if I select this right here, this will enable signals from the color wheel gauge. And that is going to be the very, very bottom part of the dash, this little color wheel right here. If you hit apply, you should see some signals pop up onto the chart. And if you just leave it all out of the box, it's going to be some pretty wild signals here and there. Unfortunately, the way this works, some of these signals are going to probably be from the bar close just because it can't fully dictate where the ticks were at the time. So you're going to have to go back and play back the signals to make sure that they are accurate. So the way you want to do this, and we can double click the dash to get inside of here quicker, and then go down to your color wheel algorithmic settings, and this is called a color gauge right here. And the way this works is you will weight each one of these by a percentage that will contribute to your algorithm. And so what you're looking for is for something to equal what your algorithm settings are on your threshold. And down here is where you set that minimum trigger. So say you want 100%, it has to equal 100%. You change this to 100, and that means that your color wheel has to be at 100%. And you might zero out all the weighting for things like the EMA and the bands right here. And you might say, I don't want, maybe you want the CWAP. Maybe 50% will be the CWAP, so you'll make it 50% of your algorithm. You might zero out the fibs. You might only want maybe the 50% fibs, so or maybe 25%, and maybe zero out the 38% or something like that. So right here, I have 50% here. Right now, BP and SP is only 33%, and the fibs are 25%. So the way I have it, I'll never hit 100% on the color wheel, so I'll never hit my threshold down here. So I either need to drop my threshold or I have to weight my algorithm accordingly. So maybe I want 50% to be the 62% zone, and maybe 25% here, and maybe 50% here. So I know at some point I'm going to see 100%, right? So just using just the BP and SP, if you just want to use that. I had a user in the chat ask about this. What I like to do is I like to set it somewhere around 75%. That way, because these do work in percentages anyways, you're going to be using that full percentage. And then down here, there's a reset trigger. And what that means is once it hits your 75%, you'll want it to hit a reset at some point so it can trigger again. But you don't necessarily want it to flip in the other direction, right? So say you only want it to go down maybe to 50% in order for it to trigger a reset, for it to go back to 75% and then trigger again. And so for that to happen, you might weight it by 100 here, and then when it hits 75% on your BP and SP, it will actually trigger a signal. And we'll go ahead and apply that with a 50% reset, just so we get nothing except the buying pressure and selling pressure signals. And those are based off 100%, and they're not showing up at all because it's just set to close. So if we had this running throughout the day, they would be a lot more frequent. And you can see right here the buying pressure and selling pressures. Yeah, it's going to hit here up, it reset here. I got a reset here. Okay, it sold here. Here's a reset here. That X is a reset. Sold here. And we have a reset here. I got old trades going on here. I'll turn those off. I think that was a shark fin that happened yesterday. It went up here. So as you can see on 75%, and this is going to be more of a bar close setting, I'd have to go back and test for a more accurate tick setting by using the playback or let it run live. But just using the bar close settings, these settings don't look too terrible. It went up here, reset, went up here, sold here, reset here. It looks like we could probably use bar close settings with the lower threshold or possibly a different reset and get some settings there. So what I'm going to try here, make sure I got the signals enabled. I clicked off. Let's try doing it at 65%. We'll leave our 50% reset, but we'll go ahead and just try 65% to see if we don't get a little bit of a more fast signal. And keep in mind, this is going to be a lot different when you're live, so on every tick. So there you go. But if you turn the indicators settings to on bar close, and to do that, you want to go all the way down from each tick to bar close here. This will force this indicator to be based off of only when the bar closed, not when each tick happens. So it will be a lot different live, but you can make sure that it will be a lot closer to the signals you're looking at here. And that way you don't have to use a playback, but you will not get the tick by tick play on everything. It'll just be when the bar closes. So it's going to be a lot different. So if we look at this on bar close, this looks pretty dang good. I like this signal short for sure. Let's see what else we got here. You got a long signal there. And then you've got, okay, short there, good short. Looks like a decent signal here, this green arrow. Some of these are kind of hard to see, but all right, looks like we've got a good signal there. It didn't actually go short again. Resets here, went short here. Pretty good for filtering out trends, it looks like, if you wanted to do it this way. But again, this is going to be on bar close. There's a short. So I think we got maybe a question here in the chat. Oh, no, sorry, I got a message. All right. So I'm going to look at another aspect of this. So say you want to pair up a couple of different things inside of the dash. You can develop an algorithm here. And the way that would work is you might say, like I said before, you might set the threshold somewhere else, like 100. But you might set, say, 50% on the weighting for the BP, the buying pressure and selling pressure, and the other half might have to be the let's say the CWAP. So now you're telling this gauge to turn 100% green, you need both of these to agree, and so the CWAP has to agree with at least 50% of the, well, it's weighted that way, so it has to be the full pressure there. So this should work if I'm not mistaken. We'll try it. That should equal 100. Yeah, that'll equal 100. So let's go ahead and hit OK. And so this one doesn't have the CWAP apparently agreeing with it. So we'll go back over here. We'll look and see. CWAP agreed with this one. Resets here. So you're definitely taking a lot of the signals out, but you do now enforce another verification. There's one up here. It's kind of funky. Don't know if I'd agree with that one just because it's the first signal right there at the very, very first of this. Okay, so we do get one at the beginning there, no good, but it's there. So, I don't see a whole lot of signals. It's pretty strict on what it's doing. And that may be because they both just have to agree and they're not agreeing enough for it to trigger. Another thing you might do is, in this case, is drop your threshold trigger just a little bit so it doesn't have to retrace quite as much. Let's see if this works. That's a decent signal there. Not a lot of signals pop back up here. So what we'll do instead of 100% here on both of these, just to make sure we're not doing something funky. We'll raise this first, actually, make sure I'm not thinking backwards on this. Has been a while since I've used these signals. I could be thinking the complete opposite. Oh, grabbed the wrong thing. And there was a signal through here. I just saw it flash. So I'm not enjoying this too much with the 50% CWAP, 50% buying pressure. And that's kind of unusual. I thought we had a pretty good signal combination here before, but apparently not. Either that or it's just not resetting right. So, and I got 50% on the buying pressure, 50% on the CWAP weighting. Yeah, that should be a little bit more accurate. We'll try resetting it at 80%, see if that doesn't do it. I have a feeling our reset's just not resetting fast enough. No, that one worked. Unless yeah, no, didn't really change much. So, I'm not seeing what I want to see here, which is unfortunate, but that is part of coding some of these indicators. Let's make sure we got everything set right. Anchor mode, second one. Yeah, I think we got everything pretty right. Okay, we'll go ahead and reset this at 20. Let's see what happens there. There's a reset. That's a long ways away. Yeah, that actually took a lot more signals out, so I'm not thinking that's the way to do it. I think it is right, setting it up a little bit higher. So we'll go ahead. I think I may just have our CWAP set a little bit stricter than it should be, so it's not flipping very often. But regardless, that's the basic gist of the color gauge signals and how you want to set them up. It's designed basically to give you a lot of options for an algorithm, and you can change a lot on here. You can take some of this weighting and kind of change it to be dynamic in the way you want your algorithm to really function. So this is something I've been working on kind of in the background a little bit more, so it gives you a little bit more of an option here, especially inside the dash to filter with. It kind of gives you a little bit of an option too with the fibs. I know a lot of people trade these fibs along with other levels and reversals, so it's something else to look at and keep on your radar just in case you think, hey, I like this when it hits this fib and it also has a reversal or something like that. It may be a little bit more accurate to have that confluence, and maybe it'll help your trading, maybe it won't, but that's kind of how I've been pushing and pursuing on this, just to get another option out there. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's try 99. Maybe it's not. Well, let's put this back at 80, just so we know it's going to reset. I don't know for sure. Maybe the 100% just isn't pushing over. There's the one that we've had. Let's see here. That may be because I'm not setting the reset at 50. That's probably it. Reset at 50 or 49 makes more sense. And the trigger at 51, I guess, we'll make it that. That's it right there. Okay, so setting the trigger down a little bit better to that 50%, since there are only two indicators, it's going to force it to go from 50 to 51, and that's going to open up a lot more. So boom, there's your filter out. So it's going to filter there. CWAP still has to agree. There's one. I do have it set pretty high to reset, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Let's see here. We could do, yeah, you can leave the resets on anyways. This is still going to give you an up signal. So boom, it's there. Nice short signal here. So if you're filtering for the trend here like this, yeah, there we go. There's an up signal here. It's not the best, but it is there. And in this case, you also have on top of the sell and buy pressure, you also have the CWAP that is now being forced to agree. So here's a nice signal here. Really nice signal short. Good grief. You got a loser signal here, but you also have these. All right, let's see what else we got here. Decent signal here, decent signal here. Lots of chop. Didn't really trigger a whole lot. So that's another thing too. You should be able to get in here and enforce some of these trend tick separation and range value signals here. So right here on the pre-trend, you might say, okay, it needs to be pre-trending. So what do I want to do? I want to put some weighting in there. Maybe you take 10% off of these and enforce your weighting. Put that 10% on one of these. Maybe you want a strong trend to be in play. So that means those tick separations have to be really strong. So depending on how your EMA is set, and that's going to be adjustable up here. Let me go up here to the EMA. Or down here in this, I'm thinking the bands. I changed the bands so it's backwards now. So down here you can change your tick separation for those. So in this case it's set to 35. So that means those EMAs have to separate by 35 ticks for it to reach that weak trend separation. It has to reach 60 ticks for a strong trend. So I'm going to give that part of the algorithm, let's say 10%. Where is that? Yeah, right there. So maybe you want to give it even 33% and give the others 33%. So it has to pretty much be a part of it, and you'll set your threshold now to say 63. So it has to be over the 60%. Let's go ahead and mess with that algorithm and see what we get. So now you have to have a strong trend somewhere in play for this to even give you those signals. This isn't great. It's getting into that strong signal right there in the bottom of the trends because it's chopping. No sound on the live stream. Thanks, Scott. I did not know that. Let me go ahead and turn my sound up. I hear it on my side, so I don't know why. I'm going to leave it because I do hear it. Thank you for telling me that. Alright, if you guys are on YouTube watching, is there anyone on YouTube? Let me jump over there just real quick. I'm going to ask, can you hear me? I think we had one or two watching. This is one now. So I don't know. Man, I hope it. If there isn't sound, I'll just delete the video and we'll try it again someday. But let's go ahead for now and just continue on. Yeah, so we get some signals here. These aren't bad at all. You might play around with that tick separation as well if you want there's something like that in there in your algorithm. The whole point is to be able to ideally take your system and put it into a percentage-based algorithm, and then this threshold right here for the color gauge signals is going to be your trigger for that signal. And so whenever these all agree and whatever weighting you've given them, once they equal that trigger, that signal minimum trigger, that threshold, it will throw a signal on the chart, or it should throw a signal on the chart. And that will be represented by this color wheel. So if you do 100% on that color wheel, it'll turn green. Yellow is basically a null signal. There's nothing there. So if it's yellow, that's fine. It's just there's nothing there. The purple and the red are going to be the short, and the green colors are going to be, of course, bullish. But what you're looking for is for it to hit those minimums until it finally gives you your signal, and then adjust it as you see fit. And this is extraordinarily dynamic. There's no one size fits all on any of this or these settings. This is just going to be something you have to play with and adjust until you're happy with it. But that's good and bad. You're going to have a very unique algorithm. At the same time, it's one of those things, it will take a little work to get probably where you want it. My recommendation is to start with really round numbers. Use 25, use 33. Go from there, and then use easy to adjust numbers, and then fine tune it. Don't go too crazy. Don't jump on like the, oh, I want 11 here and then 12 here. I think that's a little bit crazy, but just start with something simple. Work your way into it. Use the things that you understand the most, and slowly build onto that as you go. And that way you'll get signals you understand, hopefully, and you'll be able to kind of adjust it as you go. And these could be used for entries, or they could be used as well for actual entry, filtration on the predator. If you're just wanting to filter out a trend, this should be able to help you out. The signals, the tags are pretty simple. I just click into them. Green for up, I believe red for down. Real super simple tags that can be adopted by the predator or similar bots that take signals. For the most part, I think that's the nutshell version of the Dash Signals. I hope this has been informative. I'd like to do a longer form of this where we deep dive into some of these things, but for a quick overview and a quick, hey, this is what this does, check it out. Before I go, make sure you read the disclosure and risk disclosure. It's inside of the description of the video. It's on the website. This is not investment advice. I can't give investment advice. I'm not an advisor, financial advisor. Trading's risky, so trade at your own risk. I want people to succeed. That's been my goal. I built these indicators for myself. If you're interested and want to do a free trial, jump on the website. You can download the indicators if you have NinjaTrader 8. Throw them on. You'll be able to play around with these things for at least a week. If you need a little extra time, hit me up. I'm lenient with giving a few extra days in the trial, making sure everyone gets a fair chance to at least see if they like them, if it fits them. I'm real big on try before you buy, because I'd rather you be happy and understand the indicators, add value to your trading before you throw money at them. So go ahead and give it a shot, see what you think. Feel free to hit me up on the Discord, ask questions. Hope everyone is successful in this next upcoming week. I will talk to you later. Bye.